Now playing the Artist for Artist podcast.
In a world full of podcasts, three brothers decide to change the game. This year, see the podcast that everyone's calling amazing.
Artists for artists, artists for artists, to artists for artists.
This is the Artist for Artists podcast with your hosts James, CJ, and Hennessy.
Welcome back, y'all. You already know what it is. This is the Artist for Artists podcast. This episode is going to be centered around something that's just a topic that, you know, we talk a lot about now, but we still don't talk enough about, right? And it's just the ideas, the stigmata behind mental health, right? A lot of us, especially coming out of the pandemic, you know, we all suffered at some point in that, whether it was, you know, the 2 years that we was locked up. And I say 2 years like we was locked up, like we did a video.
But yeah, I think it's just now like all of the stuff, like.
But just everything that we had to suffer, you know, throughout that. It was some great experiences, some bad experiences for people. But nonetheless, we all made it through. But we all have some minute or elevated trauma from it. You know what I'm saying? Hetty, how was, you know, in that moment for you?
Yeah. So one of the biggest things to overcome during that time was just imposter syndrome. I feel like that was just something that I'm sure all of us have different times that we've dealt with imposter syndrome. And I think the hardest thing with overcoming imposter syndrome is like, you could have as many people around you telling you're doing this great, this song sounds good, you know, this media plan looks good, or whatever it may be. But if you don't personally believe it, right, doesn't mean anything to you, right? So then you're constantly chasing, you know, ways to satisfy yourself. And a lot of the times the reason that happens is because you, at least me, and I'm sure you guys too, we expect a lot more out of ourselves than everyone else does. So I think a lot of the times, that's where that imposter syndrome comes into play. Is, you know, everyone around you is like, hey, you're killing it right now, you're doing great. You don't feel it.
That's
what is.
So for our listeners and, you know, and the viewers, just kind of just tell them, you know, like what imposter syndrome is. Define that for them, so that way.
So imposter syndrome is like when you are doing something is successful at, and you start getting these thoughts in your head that are like, you know, maybe I'm not as good as I thought. Maybe I could be doing better. Maybe, you know, this is all coming too easy. Why is this happening so easy? A lot of the times when you come from a background of struggling and really trying hard to make things happen, when they start happening easy, it's almost like, whoa, slow down. This isn't going to be happening this easy, right? So that also triggers imposter syndrome. Like, my whole life I've been grinding, you know, fighting tooth and nail just to get this. Yeah. And now you get to a point in life where these opportunities start coming out to you. This is a prime example here.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah, man. It's one of those things that, you know, it's just tough to look out.
Man, you know what? I think for me, just, and I guess it's piggybacking off of what you said. I think I've always been very, very humble with a lot of stuff, and didn't see it for me, but would see it for everybody else. So it's like, I can tell you right now, oh, you should do this. Oh my God, like this. Write that book, because let me tell you, you do this, connected with that could happen, boom, boom, boom. And I don't know, I would have these moments where I feel it for myself. I have these moments where I'm like, I know it's possible, but I never really put that much into it the way I would for somebody else. And I think mentally was always because I felt like I didn't necessarily deserve a lot of different things. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, okay, cool, I was able to do this, I was able to kind of like be on this platform, that and the third. But in the back of my mind, I always said to myself, there are singers who can sing circles around me and can do this probably 10 times better. And that always played in the back of my head for a while. So as I'm grateful for the opportunity, mentally in the back of my head, I'm like, but there's so many others that can do this. And like, Lord, I don't want to do a bad job. I don't want to mess up. Like, and I think mentally that played a factor in like even a lot of my decisions for a while, where it was like some opportunities I would take and some I wouldn't because of that. And it's like, I don't want to make a fool out of myself, because I would feel like that bar is beyond where you know, if that makes sense to y'all at all.
No, it is.
You know,
100%. No, it 100% makes perfect sense. And I just think that it's just so many different layers to that emotion, that feeling. Like for you, you know, and I can respect it, and I understand where you're coming from. For you, it was more so like, there are other people who may be more talented than me, that deserves it more, right? For me, it was, I can tell somebody just asked me recently, it was like, can you come style me for this? And everybody knows I love clothes. And I immediately shunned it. It was like, no. And the reason why was because I've always felt like, okay, I can take care of this for myself because it's for myself. I could throw things at the wall for you, but I don't want to let you down. You know what I mean? Like, I don't ever want to let anybody down. So sometimes I'll stay away from what I felt like this other person's more talented, but you coming to me. So I would stay away from that because I don't want you let down. Because that's like my biggest thing is anything I put myself into, I try to make sure that everybody is getting what they need from it, even at a loss to myself. You know, so a lot of the times I will just, no, thank you. I'm not going to do it. That was okay because I knew, not because of the loss to myself, if I put forth my effort and you didn't like it, that would crush me more. And I had to deal with that over COVID because it was just me in the household. It was me and my insecurities. You know what I mean? It was me and my insecurities as a father, on top of me and my insecurities as a partner. You know, and me and my lady, we talk about it all the time. If anything, COVID saved us.
Yeah.
If anything,
that's a lot of people's testimony. Honestly, like COVID helped them, you know, face a lot of their issues that they would just run away from home with. Like, well, I gotta go to work. You know, we'll talk about this later, or or you know, I'm not married. But I'm just saying, a lot of people have said that, like, you know, that really helped their relationship out. Yeah. They have to face some of their issues.
And just the facing of it, it was just like you're stuck in the house.
Yeah, literally, you got no choice.
And we have to talk to you. And at the time, we were living in a barely 900 square feet, 2-bedroom apartment.
Used to. That's the key term. That's the key term.
But yeah, so we had to just face our demons, and I think with the imposter syndrome is when we don't.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't even want to call it demons because it's not demons, but we don't face our own reality. Yes, you can sing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yes, Henny has the best hair I've ever seen in my life. You know what I mean? But, you know, just stuff like that.
And it's amazing.
It's just amazing. I feel all the time. Camera.
Look at this. Hey, never seen a ball like that.
It wasn't until this podcast where I met, you know, everybody knows the story. You guys know that Henny. And Henny in the corporate world was doing things that I thought you weren't able to do.
Right.
Being unapologetically himself.
Like being him.
Being him as a black man.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's being unapologetic about it. And that inspired me. And like after 2 weeks later, I got a job in corporate America.
Let's go.
Dude.
Corporate thuggery.
It's happening.
We like to hear.
Yeah. A lot of getting back to like the whole mental health thing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things that we go through with mental health, you touched on it right at the beginning. Mental health is now, it's a prevalent conversation. I feel like in the past it wasn't. A lot of people brushed it under the rug, but now mental health is something that I feel like is at top of mind. It could be more at top of mind in my opinion. But I guess for you guys, excuse me, what are some things that you guys do to just kind of keep your mental health, you know, on track? Because a lot of times there could be a lot of negativity. There could be
I close.
Okay, so
and it's been amazing.
Okay,
and that's been. Let me tell you. And my friends, I love my friends to death, and my family, and everybody knows that. And I'm always that guy to everybody. So it's like you call me, I'm there. But I'm learning. Every Monday and Tuesday, I am unavailable.
Yeah.
Like, and it has to be that.
Has to be.
You know what I mean? Like, if I can't make it a Tuesday, definitely Monday is like my day.
Yep.
And that keeps me together.
For sure.
Because the rest of the week is like I'm answering to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If I can just take that one day to where I'm only answering to myself.
Dedicate to yourself.
Yeah. I'm literally to the point where I can look around and be like, what am I going to do today?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That helps me for the rest of the week. And I've realized if I don't make that time out and I just let that week go without carving like a day for that,
yeah,
I am burnt out. Like that energy happens for that week. It's like, yo, I'm burnt out. I need to get my me time.
Most definitely.
So now I'm like barking at my friends and I'm being like, you all right? I'm fine. You know? But I'm learning that. Like that's one of the things that has really
for sure. For sure. And you can't pour out of an empty cup,
Bro.
right? So that's like a super important thing that
Yeah.
you dedicate a time every single week, whether it's 1 day a week, 2 days a week, to dedicate to yourself. I think that's important. I think a lot of our listeners, if you don't do that, it doesn't even have to be a full day, whether it's like, hey, on Sunday from 12 to 4, I'm going to dedicate this time to doing a hobby, watching a show, whatever it may be, improving your skills, whatever works for you. Make sure you dedicate that time to yourself.
So what's one of the ones that you do?
Yeah, man. So something that was an absolute game changer for me during the pandemic, I started going to therapy, right? So I think that's something that, that's something that a lot of people are open about. That's something that a lot of people don't want to, and I will put you over. Shout out to Famous. Shout out to my boy. Famous. They got artists. He's great. That's fine. It's good. Hey, man. Famous deals with my crazy therapy. We need to have him on the podcast. Okay. Right. But yeah, no. So therapy, like on a serious note. So what that's really done for me is it's really helped me be able to articulate my thoughts, right? We have all these thoughts all day throughout the day, and what therapy helps me do, it just helps me regulate it. Like, am I bugging right now, like, by thinking like this? Or, you know what, thinking like this is completely normal. There's probably a lot of people who are thinking just like this. So I meet with my therapist every other Friday, and sometimes we don't even have much to talk about. Sometimes it's just a quick check-in. Sometimes it's like just a life update. And then there's times where it's, I got a lot going on and I just need someone to just hear me out.
Yeah.
Hear me out. Because a lot of the times when, we get into these situations, we don't want to reach out to therapy because we feel like there's some sort of stigma around it, or we're weak, especially in the flag end.
Do the first part of that. Like, to me, like, I don't have enough, patience.
Okay.
So I want you to know me when I call you. Like, it is me.
So that's the
I don't want to go through well, where's your name? Yeah. You come from, you're my therapist. You should know this. I have problems, big ones. Solve them. I didn't mean to cut you, but yeah.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
I'm one of them.
So yeah, so really the main thing with just the overall therapy thing, is it just gives you the ability to just have someone that, again, kind of knows you now. You go meet with them every week, they know you, and it just really just gives you a professional perspective, right? Sometimes you need professional advice. Your homies are great, friends, family, they're great, but sometimes you do need to go to professional services and get that help you need.
Do you feel a change now?
I feel
like okay, so from when you started to now, right?
Yeah.
How long has that was like?
I'm probably 2 years in, 2.5 years in.
So what was your energy before therapy?
Good. So my energy was good. The main difference, I guess, that I'd say is I can validate my thoughts. Like, I don't have that second thought. Like, like, this person treated me this way and I feel this way. My feelings are valid.
Gotcha.
Right? I don't need to, like, am I thinking wrong? Am I bugged? So it's just validate my thinking, helps me validate my thoughts, and also helps massively with imposter syndrome. Because my therapist, we're at the point where he knows my accomplishments. He knows what I've done in life. And he's like, you're bugging. Like, think about what you've done, how far you go.
So there's 3 points in everything that you guys said that I was just thinking about. And for me, what I started to do now, and that's even with my kids, that's even with my partner, that's even with everything that I do.
Yeah.
And it's 3 key points. It's the power of no, massive mean it.
I'm learning that one.
Right?
I'm not there yet.
The power of no, we spoke about that on a previous podcast. Or
Full stick. You just got to 1 to 10, man.
But it's power of and it's the power of no, and the power of stop. Right?
Yes.
Stop. And a lot of the times, because of, like you said, with us and just where we're from, our trauma, young, trying to scratch a claw and tooth and nail for everything that we do, we are always all going on.
Yeah.
So it's like the next thing. All we have to do sometimes is just stop and look around, because if we're able to just stop, look around, and like you said, that's whatever it'll be, But now I literally just be like, on my porch, I go, and then I just think about things, and I go, everything's all right. Well, set stuff anymore. You know what I'm saying? And that is the process in it. But the third part about that is accountability. For sure, ever do that for ourselves. We hold everybody else accountable for their mistakes, how they treated us, how they act.
Or we just don't give it the same energy.
It's just
because I know it's there.
I was just saying, you just hit on,
like, walk out the room like, James, you have got to. But then it'll be that.
It's like, it's exactly that. So that's actually crazy that you just hit that, because it's like, you're not going to be late for a gig. If you have a gig at 8, you're not going to be late. if work tells you to show up tomorrow at 9, you're not going to be late. But how come when we have something to do for ourselves, we skip it or we're late?
Right.
We just don't do it.
Right.
So it goes back to holding yourself accountable.
Yeah.
Same way you hold yourself accountable for your friends, your family, your work. It's the same thing. Just you got to do it for yourself, because without you, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I kind of want to touch on it for sure.
That's it.
And it just all goes in line. It's like we don't think that all of this lines up. We think that mental health is just mental health and health is just health, and it's rarely together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like if I'm stressed and I'm going through and I'm processing, on this end, that candle is just dwindling and dwindling and dwindling.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know,
Out of here.
I think recently I was like, in Houston, we do weddings and stuff like that. It's just weird for the summer.
Yeah.
We're booked like crazy, you know, left and right. It wasn't this year, all of July we were booked. And June 24th, I was like, oh, thank God. I was like, thank God. Because as artists, and that's the other thing too, we need to talk about what it is for mental health as an artist, because we talk about now mental health as a whole, you know what I mean? But as an artist, and the reason why I'm saying that is because as an artist, we're taught to give our creative as a gift to the world. We give and we give and we give and we give. And then when it's not being returned, our creativity just gets, you know, that level of wanting to do it starts dwindling, and then we out 3 or 4 months without going to the studio, or we on stage giving half-assed performances, or anything, or even you down to that.
It's like sales in general, though. It's like same idea. Sales,
same idea. Like, so, you know, for me, I always was like, all right, well, this time is going to be that, and this time is going to be that. Now, the toss-up in it is obviously the kids, which I cannot control too much, because parents act like they can. The toss-up is that, but I'm open to that, because one of the biggest mental health things I did for myself within the last 2 years, honestly, bro.
Yeah, what'd you do?
It's going to be your boy, but
No, seriously, we got his.
You got you.
one of the biggest things I did.
We're calling it as a podcast.
One of the things I did was I moved out of New York,
Yeah, major.
and it changed my whole feeling. I went back and checked out my old job. Everybody looked miserable, down, you know, and it's because of this
Hustle and bustle.
I'm where I'm at now.
Yeah.
I have to learn to slow down and pull back, because they're not like that. Like, I went to Chick-fil-A to order a Chick-fil-A sandwich, and she was like wiping the same spot.
Okay, I get what you mean now. Yeah, I get what you mean now. I have no patience for none of that. So I think when it comes down to, I guess, being aware of it, and this is my last question to you, because some people can go through life and not even realize, like, mentally, like, they're not checking in, you know, and they don't, like you said, they don't know how to put language to that feeling, all of that. So what were some of the signs for you that made you say to yourself, okay, I think now is the time for therapy? Just if there's somebody watching and it's like, hey, there are certain feelings and moments that I do have, but what is, like, or maybe just out of example from you guys' situation?
Yeah, for me personally, it was just like I was waking up every day and I just wasn't happy, even though I had a lot of good things going on, and I couldn't pinpoint, like, what is the reason. I thought I had a couple ideas as to what the reason could be, but I couldn't pinpoint it, and it was just something that was eating at me. Obviously I wasn't able to perform at my best ability because it was eating at me daily, but yeah, that was probably it. Just not being able to pinpoint, like, why do I feel this way? Is this normal? Is this right? And that pushed me to, you know, find a therapist.
For me, it's the reflection of my kids. I
Love that. See,
so much from them, believe it or not. And, you know, and I'm blessed to have them, because I can tell where I'm at emotionally and mentally through the actions of my children. You know, through the action of my son will go to school, cool kid. For that week, it's like, I'm getting phone calls. Oh, he did this, knocked the chair over, he pushed this over. And I'm like, why is he doing this? And that goes back to being accountable. right? It's like, well, what's happened? Okay, me and mommy did this.
That's good.
Me and me did this. We're not okay. And now it's about to draw back now and take that time to share these meaningful experiences also.
Yeah.
You know, and the same thing for you, like a celebration. One thing I give you 100%, bro, is somebody will post something and you want it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's all, bro. That's
Love
all.
it, yeah.
Hey, man, we'll go with this. You ready? And if any of you, right, think about it, the accountability of it all. We keep saying internal accountability, but it's actually holding your people, your brothers and sisters accountable. You know, and that's for the positive and negative aspect. James released a song, we there. You know, you book a amazing client, we there.
Yeah, some
You know what
more.
I'm saying? My children's birthday, we're gonna take that 5 hours, you guys. Yeah, we gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? You guys just tapped in.
Yeah.
As simple as a tap in, guys. You just never know what's happening with people. And all we can do is just tap in, and that may be the one change in how a person perceives life in that one moment, you know?
Yes.
Once again, thank you guys.
Yes,
man.
Thank you guys, man.
You know, we're gonna have to probably, hit this a couple of times, you know, but
Yeah, but-
thank you guys again. This is the Artist for Artist podcast. We are blessed, and our mental health is great. You know why? Because we're in season 2 now. Let's go for you guys. Appreciate having me out of here. CJ, James, Henny. Let's go.
Peace. So.
If you're loving the show, hit that subscribe button on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your go-to platform. Stay tuned and stay connected. Catch you on the next episode.